Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Elon has been testing his influence on Twitter lately. We know about his tweets regarding Wall Street bets with game stonks, and he's been circulating many memes about Dogecoin lately, and it's jumped over 10x in just over a week. This is all through Elon Musk's tweets. Dogecoin is just a joke crypto. It's also known as Dogecoin, as it's not serious. I believe that Elon has just been testing his influence on Twitter with Dogecoin to see how much influence he really has. Elon has tweeted about Bitcoin many times, and I've said it was an inevitable move that Tesla was going to acquire a large share of Bitcoin. But now, with Tesla's latest SEC filing, they've announced the following. We hold and may acquire digital assets that may be subject to volatile market prices, impairment, and unique risks of loss. In January 2021, we updated our investment policy to provide us with more flexibility to further diversify and maximize returns on our cash that is not required to maintain adequate operating liquidity. As part of the policy, which was duly approved by the audit committee of our board of directors, we may invest a portion of such cash in certain alternative reserve assets, including digital assets, gold bullion, gold exchange traded funds, and other assets as specified in the future. Thereafter, we invested an aggregate $1.5 billion in Bitcoin under this policy and may acquire and hold digital assets from time to time or long term. Moreover, we expect to begin accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment for our products in the near future, subject to applicable laws and initially on a limited basis, which we may or may not liquidate upon receipt. So Tesla have now converted $1.5 billion into Bitcoin and are also going to accept payment in Bitcoin for their products in the near future. Elon started X.com or PayPal so he could decentralize banking. It's most likely still a mission of his. Elon can now use his influence and money from Tesla to give Bitcoin the confidence it needs. Tesla is trying to decentralize energy and transport, but now they could potentially decentralize money as well. This is just the start of it. Imagine when Tesla becomes a $10 trillion company and start buying some serious amounts of Bitcoin. Twitter's CEO, Jack Dorsey, also the CEO of Square, put 1% of Square's assets into Bitcoin. When we see corporations and financial institutions starting to buy up Bitcoin, it will start to create more FOMO and could have a domino effect. Some people think investing in gold is an asset that will appreciate, but that's not the point of gold. Gold is what's known as a store of value. It more or less maintains its price in real terms. This is due to its scarcity. A store of value is the function of an asset that can be saved, retrieved, and exchanged at a later time, and be predictably useful when retrieved. More generally, a store of value is anything that retains purchasing power into the future. For example, back in Roman times, the same amount of gold would buy you a toga and sandals that today would buy you a suit and shoes. Gold just holds value. People like a way to lock in their wealth as securely as possible. This is what gold allows them. But Bitcoin is a better version of gold. It is even coined as Gold 2.0. Gold is incredibly inconvenient to use. It's not fungible. Fungible means that it's easy to interchange individual units of equal value. For example, can you imagine trying to buy a loaf of bread with a gold bar? It would be very difficult to break up the exact amount of gold to cover the bread. Gold is not easy to transport either. It's incredibly heavy. Bitcoin is just a better version of gold. It is the greatest form of scarcity we've ever seen, and it's the best way to store value. It's a lot harder for governments to take your Bitcoin than your gold. In fact, it's near impossible, unless there was a global draconian government that forced you. Governments have made citizens give up all their gold in the past. This happened in 1933, in America, under Executive Order 6102. Bitcoin gives you much more protection. Governments have been printing so much money lately, they say once a national debt is above 130% of GDP, there's no going back for that currency, unless it's Japan. There is a lot more printing to come still. This will inevitably create inflation, possibly even hyperinflation. As soon as citizens lose confidence in a currency, investors put their money into gold, as it's more stable, and they don't know what might happen to a currency in a market crash. So gold will generally go up in value against a currency when confidence in a currency dwindles. This is called debasing of a currency, and it's been happening for millennia. Governments used to mint coins that were meant to be gold with less valuable metals, essentially stealing from the citizens. These days we call it quantitative easing, as it sounds better than tax. But make no mistake, it is a tax. But with all this printing right now, the confidence of the currency goes down. However, now we have an alternative to gold. If citizens decide that Bitcoin is the currency they have confidence in, then it becomes the currency, It's that simple. There are various tipping points of Bitcoin that we're waiting for. Once the world has decided that it is the replacement of gold, then it's expected to replace the global value of gold, estimated to be between $7.5 and $10 trillion. However, Bitcoin might be more than just gold. The Bitcoin maximalists think it could replace the entire financial system. All financial institutions, governments, corporations will have to move over. Governments would likely have to accept Bitcoin as tax, if they're even able to. This is estimated to be closer to $100 to $200 trillion, similar to what some people think the market cap of Tesla might be one day. Tesla, starting to do this, might convince other corporations to put some of their capital in Bitcoin too, if not just for a hedge. But why Bitcoin over the other cryptocurrencies? Well, Bitcoin is totally decentralized, which means no one has control over it. It's also the most secure of the other cryptos, and it is the most well-known and widely used. Anyway, I'm personally all for Bitcoin to replace currencies as a single global currency. I believe the world will be a better place as a result, and wealth will be spread more evenly. This could be very exciting. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.